Hello everyone and welcome to this, our second National Travel Agent Day TTG Agent Matters broadcast. It's hard to believe we're here for a second one already. It seems like hardly any time ago that I was actually joined by Jackie and Claire here, who joined us for the first one we did last July, and also delighted to be joined today by Tony from Idle Travel as well today for our second National Travel Agent Day Agent Matters. So the aim of today is we're just going to be taking a look at some of the key issues that are facing the trade right now and that experience of working in the trade at this moment in time, and reflecting, I guess, in some way, as best we can, on what's been happening over recent times, and also more broadly since we last spoke last year as well. So as I said, I'm joined by Claire Moore from Peaks Travel Elite. I'm joined by Jackie Steadman from TravelTime World and Tony Mann from Idle Travel in Bradford. So I'm just going to pop round to all of you quickly and just ask for a brief introduction, a bit of background on your business, and just sort of how you are today, really. So we'll start with you, Claire, if that's okay. You're in my bottom right.
Hi, so I'm here representing Peaks Travel Elite today. We are a traditional high street agency specialising in a majority of cruise, luxury and long haul, but literally doing anything for everybody at the moment.
And Jackie, you're next.
Okay, I'm Jackie Steadman and it's TravelTime World. We're an independent travel agent. We're an Advantage member. I think what saved us during the pandemic was that we just finalised a new property which was on the high street, but there was an office which massively took our overheads down and enabled us to survive. I think this. I think yes, like Claire, we sell everything. And I think I always describe it like we used to sell beautiful long haul, luxury, Mediterranean family holidays, dreams. Now I'm just an advisory service for the UK government.
And Tony, how about you?
Hi, I'm Tony Mann from Idle Travel in Bradford in West Yorkshire. Yeah, based in a shopping centre next to Morrison supermarket. We've actually been trading since 1983 when I had a mullet, black hair, tash, probably wear a shell suit. So as you can tell, I haven't changed much since then. My hair's got greyer. So yeah, mainstream, we sell mainstream leisure holidays is the main thing. And but yeah, been established for over 30 odd years and we're still here.
Brilliant. And just to recap as well, actually, Tony joined us for our first ever Agent Matters we did back at the start of the pandemic. And as I think I mentioned earlier, Claire and Jackie both joined us for our National Travel Agents Day one last year as well. So great to be able to catch up with where we are at this moment in time. Just a brief line on National Travel Agent Day as well. That was an initiative that's been popular in certain other countries for some years now, but it's never really been that established in the UK and Ireland. Intrepid Travel last year kind of led the celebrations for the first time in a real meaningful way. So we're returning this year to carry on that and hopefully help continue to raise the awareness of all the brilliant work that travel agents do in the UK, and hopefully gain some greater recognition from the public who have never needed them more at this moment in time, as I think we can probably all agree. So let's get straight in with some of the sort of latest topics on which we're all looking at the moment. So this week in particular, we've had the first real major change to the travel rules for a couple of months. We've had the concession on easing quarantine for fully vaccinated amber list arrivals. If we had been talking about something of that complexity a year ago when we had the launch of the travel corridors situation and everything, then who knows? I mean, it feels a bit like we're in a slightly deja vu situation at the moment, but perhaps, Jackie, could you start us off by a few thoughts on whether that's really made a material difference to the conversations you've been having so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think initially there was a general euphoria, particularly as amber needed no longer quarantine. However, when you start talking to clients about, well, you need a lateral flow, or depending on what the country wants, and then before you leave there, you've got to do this. All of a sudden, you can see the enthusiasm visibly draining from them. You know, well, oh, that's really cool. I said, no, it's not actually. I've been doing it. It's fine. Well, we'll guide you through it. But it's that consumer confidence, and I think the fact that things change so quickly. And I think the lesson was learned this weekend with France. And that was just a bombshell to us. To be able to do that and create this new category of the French variant amber category was just whatever confidence was there was just wiped out.
Yeah, you're nodding, Claire. Similar experience for you and your clients?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not the first time, is it, when that's the same or the equivalent situation happened with Portugal. You know, that situation shouldn't have happened. All the situations we always have to end up dealing with and supporting our clients with, none of them should actually have happened, but they do, and we just keep picking ourselves up, get back on the Corona coaster, and as much as we're desperate to get off, this is where we're at, isn't it? And so, you know, we need to stay resilient and keep on keeping on.
Yeah, we were probably promised more stability really from the government when it came to this summer, based on the regime that was set out back in April. But Tony, do you feel that that's really offered any greater stability at this stage, or are we actually really starting to slide into a very, very similar pattern to last summer?
Well, we've gone backwards, I think. You know, I think that when they first mentioned the traffic light system, we thought, wow, they've eventually got a plan together. And the way it was spoke about, we felt we could have some type of you know, where we could all work together. And obviously, as soon as it started, they decided not to implement it. And as Claire said, over the Portugal debacle, that were, you know, the way they handled that. And then they came up with, what's this? Is this called Amber Plus, or is it a ready green colour, or whatever it's meant to be? To be honest, it's been an absolute shambles. And as somebody said, I think this week, I think they are making it up, you know. So to think we worse than we were last year. And we've certainly, we found it more difficult to get people away, and we are getting people away. But, you know, to say that how many people have been vaccinated and we're further back is just unbelievable, really. So, you know, have a plan, stick to it, and we can all deal with it. But no, it's a shambles. The only positive I'll take, because I think you've got to try and take some positives out of anything, is that France went to whatever colour it went to and didn't go to red. So we all pray and hope in his minds that he would really struggle, as in with his mind, and think it's not the way to go forward unless it really has to go to red. So I'll take the positive of that we've got some kind of notification. But to be honest, I think quite a knee-jerk reaction in the speed that they do things.
Yeah, and you mentioned you were getting some people away, Tony, at the moment. It'd be interesting to hear from all of you actually kind of what sort of trips you have been getting away at the moment. What have been some of your sort of recent departures, Tony?
You know, we're selling quite a bit as soon as the Mallorca and Ibiza, etc. We've sold out to there. Actually, the Canaries coming up, I've been looking at, and Greece is doing quite well going forward. So we've got a fair amount wanting to go, but, you know, like anything, you know, we're actually physically advertising the fact we've got a radio campaign on. But that said, you're probably treading water quite a bit. I'm not saying it's the end to it. We're kind of ticking along, but it's a lot of hard work. You know, we've had all types of things happen. People turn up to the airport, the NHS app hasn't worked properly or frozen, or, you know, we've had the different vaccine variants for Malta and all this annoyance. I'm trying to keep my temper, but you know, so it's pretty difficult, but we are getting some away. To be honest, I've just, you know, I'm in the office now, we've a couple of people on, both desks are full. We are extremely busy, but we've been extremely busy doing even more admin than I thought we could ever do. You know, it's amazing as a travel agent what we all have to know. I know about vaccines, I know where some have been made, whether they're in India or whether in the UK. My God, the things that you need to know as a travel agent, if you'd have told me a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have believed, but there you go. Fountain of all knowledge.
Similar experience, Jackie? I mean, sort of becoming that kind of fountain of all knowledge, like Tony says?
Yeah, absolutely. And we learn as we go along. It's sort of like it's a different thing every day. But I mean, in terms of what we've been getting out, again, similar to Tony, on our booking, Greece has been quite popular. We've had a few around the UK. We've got clients on the inaugural saga going around the UK this weekend. So that's helped a bit. But again, we've had, you know, people who've turned up on P&O and didn't have the printed NHS COVID passport and were denied boarding. They only had the card. And of course, you know, some of these guys are in their 80s, and as far as they're concerned, they were told when they had the vaccine, this is the proof that you've had your vaccine. And so they turned up on board the P&O and they said, well, that's my proof. Well, no, actually, you've got to do the app or go online. Well, I haven't got an app. I am not online. So, you know, it's that we are fighting against the bureaucracy as well.
Yeah, and Claire as well. I mean, that's quite an interesting point from Jackie in terms of the disparity between potentially this situation is really driving differences between the ages of your clientele and things like that. I mean, it's okay for all of us sort of savvy with the apps and things to just get going, but for others, it's much more difficult. Have you experienced that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Majority of our clients are of the age bracket that they won't have an app. They don't necessarily even have a smartphone. And so the amount of support that these guys need is just outrageous.
Yeah.
I was going to come on to this a bit later, but as we're kind of on this topic right now, we actually ran a sort of little poll of agents a couple of weeks ago about the idea, it has been talked about a lot of times before, about sort of charging for your time and your services and things like that. Have any of you moved any further along the line with thinking about that as something in the future?
We're doing it.
Still something you're doing it, Jackie?
We're doing it. Absolutely. Yeah, we're doing it. We're just like £20-25. Somebody's come in, they booked a Ryanair flight direct and they need some help because they want to change it, whatever. And we're just saying, yeah, that's fine. We'll talk to you for a few minutes. Yeah. But if you actually want us to sit down and help you and go in with your passwords, it was £25 and we just do an admin fee. Simple as that. We're now saying to people, well, you know, we'll deduct that from the booking when you make it, but up front it's £25.
Is that something viable for you, Tony, or not?
No, to be honest, listen, don't get me wrong. I think that, you know, it's worth it for people. Look how many calls we're all getting from people who aren't booked with us. So I think with the amount of knowledge that we know, we could be maybe solicitors and etc. And the way that they, you know, would charge for their time. But for us, being where we are on the high street, etc., and being, you know, mainstream leisure, it wouldn't sit with my customers, you know, unfortunately. So that's the market that I'm in. But I also understand if people can and, you know, and should, you know, let's be fair. As I said, you know, we've been inundated with calls from people who can't get through to companies. So I'd probably be richer from that if I could charge. But not possible for us.
And Claire as well, I mean, compared to say this year, I mean, are you seeing a greater number of people coming to you for just general help and support, or is it roughly the same as last year?
No, I think it's a complete minefield this year. We're definitely in a worse position, as Tony's already said. But the consumer confidence is just a real challenge. And so there are lots of different hurdles, aren't there? Advice, you know, what do we think about it? What's our opinion? All of those things. We're hoping as of the 1st of August that we will be changing our terms of business to charge a £50 cancellation fee. Or in the case of somebody that's made a booking and they choose to cancel, I don't mean if the booking is cancelled, but if they choose to cancel rather than to rebook, and there is an option to rebook, then we will be enforcing a £50 fee. Of course, it's not going to pay many bills, but it all helps.
Yeah, it helps. Yep.
Yeah, and just again, correct me if this isn't the case or not, but to look at a potential positive spin on this, do you feel this is leading to conversations you're having that will result in clients of the future? Do you feel that's happening, or is that just kind of a pipe dream?
I think it's happened from the beginning, though. We've all made client wins. I'm sure people can't get through to anybody, but then I think the public have got a very short memory. You know, a client that I've booked, gosh, I think I've booked them 7 holidays, all 7 have cancelled. And then they called to say that there was a price difference between the online price and our price. So they asked for a loyalty discount. So I just explained the 7 bookings that we'd made and cancelled and not made any charge for. That was the loyalty discount. I think we just need to remind people sometimes.
And has anyone got an example, I suppose, recently of like one of these kind of positive interactions where you've really felt you've actually kind of really delivered something above and beyond what you might normally have had to do back in more normal times, I guess? Is there anything that comes to mind that you've just thought this really did take us to get this over the line?
But well, I think actually, sorry, go on, Jackie.
Okay, I'll start it off. I mean, we've got clients who are on the Saga cruise and they don't know how to download the app. So she's been in here, we've downloaded the app, We've had to get her Apple password. We've had to create passwords for her. We've had to have her NHS number. We've had to have her doctor's, her national insurance number. We downloaded the app, right? It's been verified, and then we printed off from that a certificate. In the meantime, we phoned 119 as a backup in case we couldn't do all that. So that is really going, you know, some distance, isn't it? You know, security wise and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to hear the level of trust from customers as well, that they're willing to kind of put that in travel agents as well, because I mean, I suppose that applies to so many other potential sort of spin-offs from this as well. Tony, did you have something to add on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, actually, for us, that's as in travel agents, that's the normal. You know, we do go out of his way, if you like, it's called service. So actually the thing that keeps us all going, will keep us all going. And it's quite simple, is if we give a good service, people will come back to us. Look, we're going to lose some, you know, some are going to overprice. Maybe we'll lose. Actually, we had one yesterday where we'd have ended up making £30 on a booking. And we said, no, that wasn't going to happen. They've come back to us today and are going to book, they're not going to book, you know. But I think the service thing with any good agent is the service that we give. You know, we are kind of open 24 hours a day. You know, we're forever watching things, like Jackie said, helping people, you know, with the phones and the apps. But actually, that's what we're all pretty good at, as in, you know, we want our customers to be treated how we want to be treated. And maybe in different things in life, when you are trying to use different services and how poor the service is, makes us think, wow, the service that we give is good. Look, not 100% of the time, not everybody's going to be behind us, but 99% of the time, you know, and that's actually what will make us strong. I do feel that once we are all up and running properly, at the other side, we'll be extremely busy. We'll be extremely busy, and, you know, we'll hopefully reap them rewards. We've got to get there, but we'll reap them rewards. There's some great agents out there, and the thing with travel agencies, we've got a love for it. Unfortunately, you know, we have got a love for it. We can't turn off from the thing, you know. So service is key, and we go out of his way to help people. Even to the point yesterday, we turned 2 people away and told them we wouldn't do the booking for them, 2 different people, because it wasn't right for them. You know, you know, I don't want to quarantine. Well, don't go on holiday, and you might be, you know, have to there and things. So we're quite honest, but I just think all agents out there do a really, really great service, and we feel that's what we've got to do. You know.
I think one of the things we are missing is the advice that we're having to give on the PCRs and the lateral flows, and how many times, I mean, I commute between here and Portugal, and how many phone calls I get from people, expats. Oh, what do I need to do? How do I get there? How else a discount? Well, hang on, no, I can get a day 5. What do I do? You know, where are the boxes that you drop them off? I mean, it goes into such detail, and that's just part. We don't even think, we're not even mentioning that today, because it's just normal. That's what we do. Yeah. Yeah, whether it's Randox cured, whether it's this discount code, that discount code, day 2, day 5, day 8, it's normal. That's just part of our day.
Yeah, and Tony, you mentioned a moment ago that part of this whole journey has been just getting to this point. I mean, we spoke to you back at the start of the pandemic for Agent Matters. We spoke to Jackie and Claire as well this time last year about this as well, and I'm probably massively underestimating the challenges that have been put before all of you to get to this point, but we are at this point. And that part of that, I presume, though again, I'll defer to you all 3 of you on this, has been some of the support we've had from central government and things like that as well. So I'd love to get an idea from all of you, a little assessment of what it's been like accessing government support, and kind of your thoughts on the extent to which it has been a lifeline to you. So would you like to go first, Claire?
Well, yes. I mean, it's really difficult, isn't it? Because I know that we have all amongst us, we will have travel agent peers and friends who wouldn't be here now without the support that we've been given. But I do think that we all feel very hard done by. We all feel that, you know, the specific sector support hasn't happened, probably won't happen, no matter, you know, for all of our hard work, the great work we did around contacting MPs and the brilliant day. but yeah, there are agencies that wouldn't be here without that support. I think the reality is, though, that you know, some of my own support network who have been absolutely brilliant. Some of these people, they're already in their bounce back loan and using the bounce back loan to pay back the interest on the bounce back loan, and it's a matter of time, I think, now. And there have already been far too many brilliant people that have left the sector, which we all feel on a personal level, but also on a skill level when we're trying to recruit. I'm sure some of these people won't come back. But yeah, it's tough, and it's about time now, really. So let's just hope that we can get more and more people going. My September departures are quite strong. We've been here before, you know, June departures were quite strong, May departures were quite strong, and on that repeat. So thank God we're so resilient. Thank God that everyone is such a great support to one another, because I think that is a brilliant win for all of us.
And for you, Jackie, in particular, I mean, Claire mentioned it a moment ago about the noise that was made by the industry for Travel Day of Action last month, and some of the conversations that were had about that. Do you feel that there is still enough kind of noise being made towards government? Do you feel they're still actually listening at all, or is the events of the last week really kind of coloured that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think they're listening at all. I think, you know, I think doing nothing is not an option. We just have to keep banging the same message out. As a sector, we've been extremely neglected, because we've had exactly the same as the rest of the high street. In fact, probably less, because my nail bar got 8,000 and there's 2 of them there. Yeah, £8,000. We got 2,667. My hairdresser across the road got 18,000. So as a sector, yes, we got the lockdown, but we're still locked down. We're still partially locked down here. So yes, as a sector, I mean, friends of mine say to me, what has the UK travel industry done to the government to make them hate you so much? Oh, okay. Is it that noticeable? Yeah, but they really are messing with your business, aren't they? Yeah. Other sectors that had so much more support, Eat Out to help out. Yeah. What have we got? We just keep getting, you know. So yeah, and even to get the grants, I mean, I've had to jump through hoops to get my lockdown grants. Yeah, they didn't come freely. I had to get my local MP involved in it. And it's sort of the bureaucracy that you have to go through. It's painful. It's like begging just to get what you're entitled to.
Yeah, similar story for you, Tony, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, you know, on the furlough side and the grants, okay, they came up with some ideas, which was good, I suppose, for all businesses. But obviously, as Jackie said, the difference between on a high street, you know, my wife's got a hairdresser's, and, you know, she got more than our travel agents did, but she was open. You know, it's a bit like, you know, really, they allowed us to open our doors at certain times. And then physically as a government, you know, the message was, don't book a holiday.
Yeah.
What? They didn't say, you know, eat out to help out. They didn't say, don't eat out. Did the, you know, it's like, so they let us open and then said to everybody, don't book a holiday. And now they're saying they didn't say that. Well, I'm sorry, but you did. So, you know, was it difficult 16 months ago? Absolutely for them. Has it been a difficult time for them? It has been a difficult time. But what I'd say for the people who's in charge of our industry, and there is a few, to not understand our industry is just absolutely unbelievable. And actually, they still don't understand it. They don't understand really what a travel agency does. I know a few have popped in recently, I've seen, which is a start, but there must be slow walkers because we've had 18 months. You know, it's unbelievable. The thing is, if you want to help us and save this industry throughout the whole industry, there's a way of doing it. You know, have a plan, stick to it. Actually, it's a relationship thing. We have relationships with our customers. We have relationships with, you know, our business partners, and even obviously relationships as agents as well that help one another. If they'd have built that relationship up, they could have been quite honest with us and said, look, this is where we're at. How do we move forward? You know, do what we do. Make everybody panic for 2 days. Yeah, treat us as people. You know, they might say some of the times, honestly, some of the things they've said has been unbelievable. And to be in charge of something you totally don't understand, get yourself another job. and get someone else in who does. Because to be honest, you're not worth the money that you're getting paid. You're in charge of our industry, then understand it. You've been in it long enough now to understand it. So we're not expecting them to lie down and give in, but just be honest with us, and then we can all move forward together. A great plan, you know, there's ways of doing it. So yeah, as you can see, angry. So actually, I'll calm down a little bit, but it just makes me mad. Just makes me mad.
That's what the global task force was supposed to do, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and I mean, absolutely. I think we're deluding ourselves if we think they care. They don't care. They're willing to sacrifice our industry.
And they don't understand. That's where they embarrass.
And they don't understand it.
I'd be embarrassed if I were running a business I didn't understand. I understand my business, and that's what I get paid for. And what, you know,
and what an insult to send it out as a tweet last Friday. That's the level that they think about us. So don't delude ourselves. They sent it out as a tweet. That's him. I mean, you know.
Well, he says he sent it out. He does it as a tweet, so it doesn't leak out beforehand. But listen, you've had more leaks. You need plumbers at your place down in Downing Street and the like. So talk about leaks. You've got to be joking.
Without wanting to rile you all any further, we had a hearing in the House of Commons earlier this week where we had the Aviation and Maritime Minister talk about why the industry hadn't received any sector-specific support. He repeatedly ruled out any possibility of it happening in the future. I think probably happening in the terms that perhaps ABTA want it or something like that. And also said that the best way to support travel was to get it to the position where it could trade out the other side. Now, I think, as you mentioned, Tony and Jackie and Claire as well, that when you have a situation where you've been having ministers come out and actively tell people do not book holidays, I mean, that seems like a fairly large barrier to trading out the other side. So I don't know if you could start us off, Claire, but have you had clients come in and talk to you and say, well, I don't know whether I should be doing this or not because of what the government's saying? Are they quoting ministers back to you or anything like that? I mean, I really have to get some insight into how those kind of loose statements that are being made play out in reality.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, throwaway comments on breakfast TV, and then that's what we're all dealing with for the rest of that day. And there's just so many that we could recall. And then, you know, customers are actually quoting that as if we're cowboys trying to force them to go on a holiday when clearly the government are telling them that they're not allowed to go. So it's unnecessary confusion. It is a huge task to try and manage for all of our teams, and it's just totally unnecessary.
And Jackie, is it really sometimes as stark as that? Is that you can have BBC Breakfast on, or you can have Good Morning Bristol or something, and there's a comment at 6:50 a.m. or something like that, and it changes the course of your day in a heartbeat. Does that happen?
Oh, absolutely, all the time, and you forget, you know, what happened in the past. I mean, it changes instantly. And the one thing that I really, really hate when somebody comes and says, "We're not allowed. We're not allowed to go there. We're not allowed to travel." Whoa, you know, And then you've got the whole explanation. And the biggest issue we're facing now is that when, say, balances are due, and we're saying, well, I'm sorry, but you have to pay the balance. And then if the holiday gets cancelled, or the country goes onto the red list, etc. And this is what we're facing now, is that these terms where there's guidelines which are not always consumer friendly, because, you know, it currently it's on the list. I've got one today, first morning, you know, Sharm, and she doesn't want to pay a balance, then she wants to cancel it. Well, its terms and conditions apply, because you're not going for 3 more months. Now and the other thing is, obviously, when you're changing it to 22, then the prices have increased. So, you know.
Similar situation for you, Tony. I presume that you mentioned before about some of the not understanding of the industry. I mean, it feels like sometimes these comments reset the trading environment for travel. It's sort of almost immediately. Is that what you find? Absolutely,
it causes conflict. You know, in the end, people, you know, they masked over at the beginning when they said don't book holiday, that it was their advice. I don't need advice from them, thanks. You know, and so it causes conflict, and then they'll say, well, the government, you know, they've said you shouldn't book a holiday, and that's like Jackie said, and you know, it's about paying balances and things like that. Just causes conflict, and then you've got to say, well, it's only advice. but obviously straight away you're in a conflict with people. So actually it doesn't help anybody really. The best thing is not to say what good was that doing really. And again, even ministers that are in charge of aviation and travel, and hold on, you're meant to be there to help us, not to, what does don't book a holiday, what does that mean? Do you know people can book up to October 22? So you're tapping away not only for people to go in now, but for the future, and then people paying balances, and yeah, it causes absolute conflict between you and your customers, and you've got to try and explain, and some obviously will listen to that, and unfortunately others won't, and we don't want conflict with the customers at all. We try to be quite transparent in everything, but they're not helping us, and they've no reason to say it. What is the reason? They might say at this moment in time, possibly, we're suggesting to hold back on traveling maybe. But if that's the case, then stop travel. It's as simple as that.
And
either
give
allow it or
support.
don't allow it. They don't say to me, decide what speed you're going to go down that road. They tell me what speed. I like rules. I'm into rules. I've always been into rules, whether that's an airline or a tour operator. I'd say, is that rule for sure? Don't change your mind when somebody rings you. And I say that to the government. It's a rule. Tell me a rule and don't tell me anything else. So yeah, it's yes, another frustration.
But the kudos
the other issue.
Sorry, Jackie.
The other thing is that the government believes that it has actually financially supported this sector because it has given the airlines the airports, and that needs to be clarified, that we as an agency, as the tour operators, we have not seen that. That is something different. That's aviation and airports. That money has not filtered down to us, and that's all you keep getting back up from the government is, well, we have supported you, we've given you furlough, so everybody else goes. You've had the lockdown, yesterday, and we've had the airlines and
Claire, did you want to pick something up as well then?
Yeah, I just think that the kudos that the public attach to any MP on national TV, we're on the back foot straight away. This is somebody in a suit on the telly saying that actually you shouldn't be booking a holiday. So why are you telling me that I should be paying my balance? Why are you telling me that actually it is okay to travel? So yeah, it's unnecessarily difficult again.
I think that point that I think you made, Jackie, and perhaps Tony as well, about conflating travel and aviation and tourism all as this sort of homologous mass, sort of that's just there and it's all the same thing. We were critical a moment ago of Robert Courts for his statements in the comments this week about sector-specific support for travel. But I should really point out actually that the question was brought by the Shadow Transport Minister, the Labour MP Jim Mann, who referred to it in terms of just aviation rather than travel as well. So, I mean, this is a problem that seems to go out throughout sort of politics at this moment in time. It's this, we do certainly have some MPs out there who've shown an understanding of the issues that face travel. We had about 70 odd of them write to the Chancellor last week to call for a furlough extension until sort of early next year. And we've had the Transport Select Committee also being fairly vocal in terms of its understanding of travel. But do you think actually anything can really be done at this time, or there's actually going to be any will to change this understanding as we sort of continue to kind of progress out of this situation? I mean, do you have any hopes of the government suddenly kind of finding its feet with travel over the next few months or so? Tony, do you want to just have a quick thought on that?
Well, you can only hope, can't you, really? But it doesn't look great. But you do hope, and and sad as I am, I watched the debate. Really great viewing, as I just wanted to put my foot through the screen. Because every time, like you said, the different things and just going around in circles, really. But again, it's that understanding. We have to keep on with them, don't we? We have to give in, even when we're out of this. Actually, we've got to understand how this industry has been treated with the people who supposedly are looking after it, and still question them. We need to change that relationship for the future as well. We've probably been we give them too much time to think, oh, they're going through a difficult time, and thought they'll eventually see come good for us or whatever, and that's not the case. So we need to continue it. We need to continue out of it. Because they're still in charge of our industry. I still think it's going to be a bumpy road. Do I hold much hope out for it? No, not too much, unfortunately.
I just want to come on to one more topic by way of it's something potentially still on the negative side, unfortunately, before we try and look at a few more positives. But we've talked about it a bit already, but this kind of idea of France going to this Amber Plus situation at the moment, announced with no notice whatsoever, 48 hours before the rules changed to open up the Amber list a bit more to fully vaccinated travellers. And I don't know how much all of you recall, but a few days earlier, before that announcement was made, it was certainly circulating in the national press that there was going to be something coming up about France. And we've had also similar kind of rumblings about Spain, whether that's going to go the same way or not over the last few days. I just wanted to get a thought from you already on this situation we're living in of the just heightened speculation all the time around what's going to be happening with travel. I mean, it seems like perhaps a very, very easy national headline at the moment to just add to that speculation. Jackie, is that been particularly problematic for you?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think it is, because there's all these leaks, and particularly as we're aware of PR companies who spread these rumours, and one questions whether they've got leaks out of Downing Street. But yeah, it doesn't do us any favours, yeah, at all. You know, in terms of the selling and going forward. No.
I'm just going to move on to something just a bit close to home, I guess, in a way. I'd love to get a few thoughts from you all actually on just the kind of the mood among your clients at the moment, your regular clients who come back to you year after year for bookings and others sort of travel help. Are they still coming to you to have these conversations about what they'd like to do? Are they still trying to get away this year? Are they looking to potentially get things locked in for next year? Are they looking to spend more on those sort of things? What are some of the sort of trends you're seeing from clients that give you some hope for the coming months and potentially to next year? Claire, could you go first potentially on that?
Yeah, I think honestly for us, the trend is no trend. I think it depends on demographic, it depends on all sorts of things. Our older clientele are almost exclusively waiting till next year. Then we have some, so a gentleman, we booked a family yesterday, and he spoke to his friend last night, who then has called today because they want to book. So there are some families that are keen to book. Then we have kind of younger professionals who are really, that's where the massive variance is for us. Some are super keen to get away, and some are absolutely not entertaining anything for this year, but want to plan something amazing for next year. And so as a positive, I think, you know, the bucket list term, not necessarily a term that we like, is we have, I'm so sorry, there's somebody just arriving in our office with some flowers. Which
well, that's
actually a nice positive thing, but quite distracting all at the same time. Apologies for that. But yeah, positive wise, as far as the bucket list thing, you know, the average booking price, the kind of holidays and the added value we can offer, that is one positive, I think, going forward.
Okay. Jackie, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a huge amount of pent-up demand out there, and our clients, our sort of law clients, are all talking. They are mainly talking about September, they're hoping in October. Interestingly enough, the demographics of ours, the older ones are the more resilient. Those are the ones who want to travel. I've got ladies who are booked. This is a third change they've had. They're on a Saga River cruise, and one of them phoned me this morning and said, "We are going to be able to go, aren't we? This is end of September." And I said, well, yep, I booked myself on a river cruise already. I'm going down the Douro. So let's hope. And one of them said to me one day, you know, this could be our last summer. We don't know how many years we've got left. And I don't want to spend it locked down. I want to do my river cruise. I want to see my friends. I don't know how many years I've got left. And that is really, really sad.
I think that's one of the great untalked about things, actually, that with over the last sort of 16 to 17 months, actually, not just in travel, but more broadly, is that the kind of impact this has had on the later years of many people's lives. And I'm sure all of you have clients who fall into that bracket, who will be wanting to take that last great trip away, the last sort of memory building trip that they have. And I'm sure some of those have been thwarted. But Tony, as well, same for you with clients. I mean, are they they hopeful at all at this moment in time? Are they kind of snapping at your arm at all for getting away to somewhere later this year?
Well, I think, like Claire said, actually there's no trend. We'll have a flurry of last minute bookings, and then all of a sudden they'll quieten down a little bit, and then summer 22 or winter, or I've been watching, we've done Oberammergau bookings, and there's all types of things coming in, and it's ticking away nicely. I mean, summer 22 our files and look absolutely brilliant, but I said that for summer 21. But look, I still think that there's definitely that pent-up demand there. We are getting some people away, still people are coming in, we've got people in every day, as new bookings as well as people swapping and etc. So it's not all doom and gloom, definitely not, but it is hard work. I mean, you do physically, my team work really, really hard. If somebody asks you a question, you physically have to stop, clear your mind. Even, normally, I think the frustrating thing is you normally know what you're going to say and answer, and know that, you actually don't know, because it changes every second. And somebody will say, what are the rules for this? Or what is this? And you physically have to stop and clear your mind, and then look at what you're looking at, where you would multitask, I suppose. Even a man, even me, I can multitask sometimes. But you physically have to stop and take note of what people are saying to clear your mind. But there's definitely positives. Listen, for people to have got this far is amazing. To think of all the things that have held us back is unbelievable, that we're still all here. And customers like Claire's there bringing flowers in and stuff like that. We get some great. We had a lovely review this week. Actually makes you even me makes me well up. It really, sometimes people will catch you off guard a little bit and say something nice, and actually I physically have to stop. So, you remember the bad things, but actually we've got plenty of good, and we've got plenty of support. There's still a great future for us in travel. We just have to wade through this bit here, get through it, and get out the other side, don't we, really? So yeah, absolutely. I'm positive. I'm looking at my shop, changing the shop around. So I'm actually changing lights, I'm changing the windows. I've got to think ahead. If I think of the negatives, and we've got it's not all hunky-dory, so don't people think I'm thinking that. I try not to look at that, because that'll push me over the edge. I've got to try and look forward. In the end, this thing has not been our fault. If we fail and it's our fault, that's down to us. This is, if that is not the case, so that's how you've got to look at it. Take any small positive that you can, because it is pretty difficult, and it's draining, to say the least. You're tired out after every day coming back in, but it's still an industry I love.
Is there I mean, I'd love just a quick thought from all of you on this idea, but is there one thing, it doesn't necessarily have to be a government thing or a testing thing or anything, part of the kind of current travel journey and process and booking and getting away and getting through airports and things? Is there any one thing that could be changed or done that would significantly improve the situation from your perspective? Any thoughts on that, Jackie?
I think the best thing they could do is get rid of all of these traffic lights, make it very simple. Simply, to come in the country, you're either double vaccinated or a PCR. Okay, you have a red list of no-go countries that have to quarantine, and then everything else is come and go with PCR test to come in. Simplify it, just simplify, or get rid of all these bloody traffic lights. It's confusing. Then you say everybody who comes in has got a PCR or a lateral flow, and 2 days or 5 days after they have another test, and that's as simple as it is. And then if a country is a problem, whack it on the red list. Okay,
no, I think that's fairly unequivocal. Claire, any thoughts on similar topics?
Yeah, absolutely. It's consistency and clarity. That's it. 2 words which would breed the word that we all need: confidence. I was on a call last week, and a representative of Birmingham Airport was there, and I can't remember which period he was talking about, but the airport was running at 9% of passenger volume to the equivalent period in 2019. something's got to change. Let's hope we have that kind of rolling stone and we can start gathering some momentum, because we're ready, we're here, it's going to happen.
Tony, last word from you.
Yeah, have a plan, tell us the criteria and stick to it.
Perfect.
It's quite simple.
Well, I think we can probably all rally around all three of those points, I think. We're going to call it a day there for National Travel Agent Day this year. Thank you all very much for joining me. Tony Mann from Idle Travel, Jackie Steadman from TravelTime World, and Claire Moore from Peaks Travel Elite. Thanks again for joining us on another Agent Matters. Enjoy National Travel Agent Day, and hopefully reap the rewards from some more good interactions with clients, as we've been hearing about over the last 40 minutes or so. So thanks very much, everyone, and thanks for joining us today, and well, best of luck for the rest of the summer now.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.